Hi everyone, thank you for joining in on time. We will be starting the session right away in few minutes. Meanwhile, let me just quickly give you my introduction. I'm Rasha Khan and I'm joining all the way from Bangalore, India. Would love to know where are you joining us from. This one is a global webinar, so you'll be seeing a lot of people joining us from different parts of the world. That makes the session pretty much diverse and interesting. So you can drop us a hello on the chat with your name, because sometimes it's very hard to make out your name from email IDs. And you can let us know where are you tuning in from. We also are streaming live on a YouTube channel. So we see a lot of folks have joined us there as well. So folks would love to know your introduction on the YouTube live chat box as well. You can let us know by dropping us a hello on the YouTube live chat box and by letting us know where are you tuning in from there as well. So we have an interesting free program preview lined up for you, how you can ascend to the pinnacle of cloud excellence here. With the AWS Cloud Architect Masters program we'll be covering today in detail. We have our expert speaker, Dr. Purshottam Assudani, who will be taking up this free program preview. And yeah, this one is interesting program preview lined up. I will be starting quickly in few minutes. Before that, let's give it like 2 minutes. I see introductions have already started coming in. So let's give it a few more minutes before we start the session. I see Deepika has joined us from Hyderabad, Sumaya from Uganda, Kastu from Nepal, Sophia from LA, Tony from Nairobi, Kenya, and Bhumi from India, Emeka from Nigeria, Sokan from Cambodia, Manish from Qatar, Prashant from London, Jamila from Morocco, and Anis from Ghana, Joy from Houston, Texas, Emmanuel from Zambia. That's great. Please keep the introductions coming in. We will start the session in 2-3 minutes more. Just setting a few things around here just to get quickly started. So please keep the introductions coming. I see a lot of you folks have just joined in. So let's give it like 3, 4, 5 minutes more for folks to get settled in and, up and down the introduction on the chat here. Oh, I see a lot of AI note taking apps have already entered the chat. Interesting. Uh, Let me just remove it because we don't want to, divert from our session chat because I see folks are still giving introductions here. So let me just quickly take you through the ground rules we have here for the session. So these ground rules are just to make sure that you have an amazing experience here throughout the session. So let me just quickly take you through that. Meanwhile, keep the introductions coming in because I see a lot of new folks are still joining. So in case you have any questions for our speaker, Dr. Purshottam, who has already joined us, you can put down your questions in the Q&A box. And the session is being recorded. Yes, and you can access the recording by, you can expect a follow-up email from us with the recording link to view over your email after the webinar. So in case you miss anything, you want to go through the recording of the session once again, please don't worry. The recording will be shared with you for view after the webinar. And for attending the webinar now, so there is a webinar certificate for that. So to request a proof of attendance for this webinar, you'll have to enter your full name in the post-webinar survey. Now, this is for folks who have joined us on Zoom. So this session is 60 minutes long, packed with program pedagogy and insights. And once the session ends in 60 minutes, you'll be seeing a pop-up by Zoom and which will ask you for your full name, which you would want to see on the webinar certificate. We will need that data in order to make sure we send you a personalized certificate. A lot of folks who have just joined now, please don't worry. I'm just getting started. We are yet to start the session. I will nudge about these ground rules throughout the session on the chat as well. In case you have missed it, please don't worry. I will address your queries even after basically we start the session as well. And this program is powered by Simplilearn, world's #1 online bootcamp. We have been in the digital skills training space for more than a decade now, and we are very proud that we have transformed lives by empowering people via digital skills. And today, the skill which we'll be covering is cloud architect, the AWS Cloud Architect Masters Program. We have advanced over 5 lakh plus careers in over 150 plus countries. We have 800 plus qualified trainers who do an amazing job, in basically making you, skilled in these particular categories and landing your dream career or dream job here. Now, quickly take you through the agenda of today's session. So the first and the most important agenda of today's session is about you, getting to know about you, how we can help you out in your career better. And the second agenda is understanding the role of a AWS Cloud Architect. Starting with that, just to give you a little bit brief before we start the program introduction. And the program introduction will start post that. The AWS Cloud Architect Masters Program by Simplilearn. What exactly the program offers, what exactly the learning path looks like, what exactly are the things, insights available in the program which will help you. And we'll be sharing the learner outcomes as well with you of the program to see what exactly learners coming from, what industries are they joining from, what companies usually they join us from. And based on the interest you share towards enrollment, we'll be taking you through the enrollment steps of the program. What is the program fee? What is the upcoming cohort you can join? And in the end, last but not the least, the Q&A part. So the Q&A part, for folks who have joined us on Zoom, you can put down your questions in the Q&A part in case you missed it. So chat box here, as you can see, is filled with your amazing introductions. And if you put down your question in the chat box, the possibility is we might miss it because we have high attendance and the chat volume will be high. So our speaker, Dr. Purshottam, will be paying attention to the Q&A box for addressing your queries. The Q&A part is towards the end, but we'll try to address queries throughout the session whenever the speaker gets time, as per the time allows. So please have a little patience in case it's not answered and keep your questions related to the topic here. Now, before we start, let me just quickly start with the first poll here for the session. As I told you that we'll be getting to know a little bit about you. So let's start with a quick poll that says, how many years of experience do you currently have? I've just launched this quick poll here. Now you can just choose the most suitable option for you. For folks watching us live on our YouTube channel, you can comment on the YouTube live chat box. We'll be paying attention to the live chat box as well. Let's give it 15, 20 seconds more because I see most of you had still joining in and responding to the poll. I see most of you have responded for the poll here. Last 10 seconds for the poll here. So here by experience, I mean any general work experience. We're not talking about cloud experience here. So the general work experience you have. The first option is currently studying. Second one is 0 to 3 years you can choose from. Third one, 3 to 5 years. And last one, more than 5 years. I see most of you have responded. Last 10 seconds for the poll, folks. Thank you so much. I'll be ending the poll now and also sharing the results with you folks here. Let's see what have you voted for. I see 38% of the votes are for currently studying. 27% of you have voted for 0 to 3 years. and 9% of you have voted for 3 to 5 years. 26% of you have voted for more than 5 years. So equal amount of experience I see in the crowd here. Thank you so much. This definitely helps us and our speaker, tailoring his responses according to the kind of crowd with experience who have joined us. So thank you so much for that. And moving on to our speaker introduction, would like to welcome Dr. Purshottam Assudani, who will be the speaker expert for this program review. A very good evening, Dr. Purshottam.
Very good evening.
Let me just give your introduction to the crowd here. So, Dr. Purshottam, he is the assistant professor for IT department in Sri Ramadeva College of Engineering and Management, Nagpur. He specializes in cloud computing, Microsoft Azure, AWS, and operating systems. He's a Google Scholar, corporate trainer, Microsoft certified, AWS certified, and 3x AWS certified, Microsoft Azure certified. This is the introduction for Dr. Purshottam. Dr. Purshottam, once again, I always say that the slide does not justify, the amount of experience and skills you have. We would love to know from you as well before we start the session.
Yeah, thanks a lot, Rasha, first of all, for inviting me to the session and for giving my kind introduction. Yeah, so, and guys, hello, everyone, and I welcome you all here. Thanks to all of you for your overwhelming response and joining the session. So just to add a few more points, maybe, yeah, so guys, I have more than 15 years of experience now, and I am basically working mainly as a solutions architect, technology enthusiast, consultant and trainer, certified cloud professional. I have I'm basically Microsoft certified trainer, AWS certified trainer, like 3 times certified on AWS, having architect, associate architect professional certifications in AWS and Azure and Google Cloud platforms. And I've delivered multiple corporate trainings with multiple multinational companies, just to name a few, like Tieto, Capgemini, Mercedes-Benz, R&D clients, Vodafone UK, TCS, etc. Guys, there are many more for AWS and Azure solutions architect level trainings. I'm also associated with many IITs like IIT Guwahati, IIT Kanpur for delivering their cloud computing programs, and also associated with Caltech University, Caltech USA for delivering their postgraduate program in cloud computing. I've done my research in cloud computing, my PhD in resource scheduling in cloud in computer science and engineering from Vellore Institute of Technology, Vellore. So this is in short about me. Yeah, let's get started ahead. Thank you. Asha, you are on mute.
So sorry. Thank you so much, Dr. Purshottam, for your introduction. We'll start with the second agenda of today's session, understanding the role of AWS Cloud Architect. Starting with, who exactly is a AWS Cloud Architect?
Yeah. So, see, basically, who is a cloud architect? So I mean, when I say architect, so basically, guys, architects are involved with the design decisions mainly. Okay, so architects have a lot, I mean, a very big role to play in any organization, and basically architects actually saves a lot of money for an organization, and they do the design decisions. So that is a very important role in any of the organizations. So they are basically responsible for making high-level design choices and dictating the technical standards. So see, a developer can develop the things only when an architect gives him a correct plan and the design to do it. Okay. So, I mean, architect also sets up the software coding standard tools and platforms. So the main goal is to develop and maintain an efficient, secure, and scalable cloud infrastructure using AWS. Okay, and that's what the AWS cloud architects will do. Because what I told you about architects in general, it holds true for any architect. And when I specifically talk about AWS cloud architect, so basically in AWS, for doing one particular job or n number of jobs, you have n number of choices that are available, guys. N number of services are there which can do the task for you. So now which service you should choose, how you should go about delivering your solution in AWS. So that is something that an architect should be very aware of. Okay, and he should be in a position to make the right decision. If let's say I have A, B, C as the three services to do a particular job, so the architect should be in a position to decide that, okay, which service one should go with, so that that fits in these companies' requirements, the budgets, the design considerations. All these things will have to be taken care of by the architect. Yeah.
Thank you so much for sharing your comment on who exactly is the AWS architect. Now, the core responsibilities, for an AWS architect, what exactly do they take care of?
Yes, of course. So, see, of course, when it comes to the core responsibility, so architects do design and deploy scalable systems. So, guys, these systems should be scalable. I mean, AWS Cloud Architect would not like to have a software or a system which is not scalable. Okay, so they have to design and deploy scalable systems. So that, guys, I'll just give you an example of a scalable system. Maybe let's take the example of let's say sale days with Flipkart, Amazon. So during the sale days, guys, the traffic on these e-commerce websites like Flipkart, Amazon during their sale days, like Amazon's Great Indian Sale, Flipkart Big Billion Days. So the traffic increases during those days. So let's say hypothetically, if Amazon is running with 100 servers, so during sale days, if the traffic on those 100 servers goes beyond 80%, then the point is that more number of servers should be provisioned to actually cater to that additional load, correct? So how would that be done? So for that thing, specifically, we should do horizontal scaling of the servers. That is, the servers should be increased, and that should be done in an automated manner. So for that, we can apply automated horizontal scaling, correct? So so that the systems are scalable. And when the sale days are off, when the traffic on those servers reduces, so then those additional servers should be terminated as well. So why they should be terminated? So that you should not be incurring the cost on those servers when they are not required. So that can also be done in an automated manner with AWS auto scaling, which can be which can be done for horizontal scaling on the servers. So those choices, those decisions have to be taken by the architect. So architect should be using those services and making sure that when the need is there, the systems should be scaled up, and when the need reduces, so they should be scaled down to actually cater to the needs of the organization, correct? So when the systems are scaled up, the performance will not go down, and the performance will only improve. And when the additional systems are not required, they will be terminated. So the cost we will not incur for those systems when they are not required. So that way the cost management aspect can also be taken care of. Okay, so basically an architect's decision should be such, he should be choosing such services so that the systems are scalable, as well as they are cost effective, as well as they are cost efficient, correct? So he can also apply the mechanisms in the costing controls to actually generate alarms. Let's say if the budgets should not cross a particular limit, so then he should set up the alarm that okay, if 50% of this budget utilization is done, an alarm would be generated on the mail ID, and then that can be taken care of. Plus, apart from that, whatever the resources that are being provisioned, they should be secured. They should comply to the standards, correct? So for that, for security aspect, you can do encryption, decryption in the cloud. Okay, you can have server-side encryption wherein the provider would do the encryption for your data. You can have client-side encryption wherein you encrypt the data and then store it in the cloud, correct? Plus, you can use security groups to actually decide that which traffic is allowed to get inside the servers and which traffic is allowed to go outside of the servers. You can allow some users to access some resources and some users to not access some resources through IAM. So through IAM, you can create user accounts. Through role-based access control, you can provide roles to those users on some services. Let's say network admins should be granted access to networking resources and not to, let's say, database resources. So that all can be taken care of with the help of, let's say, IAM service. So this is how the security can be maintained. So an architect roles is to place the measures in your organization so that the things are secured, so that the cloud environment is being used in a secured manner, so that the data is secured and the servers are secured in cloud. Yeah. So these are the responsibilities, core responsibilities of an AWS cloud architect, I would say.
Thank you so much, Dr. Purshottam, for shedding some light on the responsibilities here. Now, there is this question which comes right after this, like why pursue a career as a AWS Cloud Architect?
Yeah. So, see, I mean, why would you like to do, I mean, first of all, why would you be like to an architect? Okay. And then why specifically AWS Cloud Architect only? So, see, first of all, let me tell you, if you want to be in an architect role, you should have some good experience. Okay. And then other than that, I mean, architect, as I told you, is having a big role in an organization. He saves a lot of money for an organization. So it's a role that is going to be recognized. Okay. And you will feel good about this role because you yourself will enjoy and you yourself will have that, what I can say, that a sense of satisfaction within you that, okay, if you are doing something good for your organization, you are, let's say, saving a lot of money for your organization, you will feel good about it more than anything else. Apart from that, your efforts would be recognized, you would get the due credit out of it. So of course that's good enough a reason to pursue your career in cloud architect. And of course, if people are going to recognize your efforts, so you are going to have a value for yourself, and that is going to show in the form of the respect, and of course in the form of monetary gains as well. Correct. So that's why you should be a cloud architect. Now, when it comes to AWS Cloud Architect, why AWS Cloud Architect? Because cloud is in thing, guys. Cloud is being used in almost all the organizations. Okay, and almost 90% of the companies will move towards cloud. They say that by 2025. So then, when the companies move towards cloud, basically it is the multi-cloud that they prefer rather than just the one cloud platform. And when I talk about public cloud platforms, their first choice is the market leaders like AWS, Azure. Okay, so normally when the companies move towards public cloud platform, they think of AWS as their first choice. So it's always a best space to be in if you want to be an architect, be an AWS Cloud Architect, because as I told you, it's having high demand, AWS, correct, and attractive salaries. As I told you, people will recognize your efforts, and those efforts would be rewarded as well, correct. So you will have a great career growth. So it's like you are doing a work, and how much returns you are getting out of that work is something that is going to decide that whether you should be doing that work at what scale, and whether it is motivating for you or not. So when it comes to AWS, well, you will get your due credit, in fact more than that, and that is quite motivating. Yeah, that is quite motivating. So that's there. Yeah, so you will have a great career growth, I would say, to be an AWS Cloud Architect.
Thank you so much, Dr. Purshottam, for sharing your insights on the career growth, attractive salaries. I'll just quickly share my screen and show you the openings as well, for this AWS Cloud skill. This is a global webinar, so let me just quickly start with AWS Cloud. I'm just open dice.com, which is a global platform here. And if you search for AWS Cloud Architect roles here, and I'll just search for jobs in this role. And I just want to quickly show you how many job openings here are there. So we have almost 17,000 plus openings here for this AWS Cloud Architect role globally. This is a global platform. You can see the companies which are hiring. We can see the roles here, the kind of roles here, and we can quickly just see here for the AWS Cloud, how much the demand is there globally. And now this is globally. Let me just show you for folks who have joined us from India region, what is the demand here in India as well. This is just to give you an idea about the amount of job openings we have. And here, I'll just remove there was a comma there, sorry. Yeah, so you can see the AWS Cloud openings here as well. These are the companies which are hiring, the salary ranges here. This is for Indian candidates here. So you can filter it accordingly. And this is the demand basically you can see from a lot of companies here. So this was just to give you an idea what's happening in the world, not just talking facts, but actually showing you what's happening there as well. So now that we've talked about what exactly an AWS Cloud Architect does, what are the core responsibilities, so we would love to know what exactly is stopping you from becoming an AWS Cloud Architect here. So just launched a quick poll. This one is a multiple choice poll. You can select multiple options from the options which are provided. I just read out these options for you quickly. So the first option here is I can't find a program with a fully comprehensive curriculum. And the second one, I find it difficult to learn from pre-recorded videos. The third one, I wouldn't get the practical exposure I need to become job ready. And the last one, my work schedule won't allow me enough time for learning. So I see most of you have already started sharing responses here. Folks, if this poll does not cover your, challenge or like, problems you might be facing when it comes to pursuing a career in AWS Cloud Architect, the Q&A box is open. We have already started getting some fantastic questions in the Q&A box, which you'll be addressing, shortly as a speaker, whenever the speaker gets time. And I see a lot of good questions coming in on the chat box as well. So folks, we have high attendance today and the chat volume is really high. So we wouldn't want to miss your questions on the chat box and we might miss it when we basically go towards the Q&A box. So please do let me know if you have questions, move it to the Q&A box. I see a few interesting questions on the chat box. So the speaker will be checking out the Q&A box for addressing your queries. So please help us with that. Please make sure to move your questions from chat box to Q&A box. In case any doubt, where is the Q&A box? It is just beside the chat box. Chat box is where I'm seeing your, interaction happening. And please move your questions there. Last 5 seconds for the poll here. I see most of you have responded for the poll here. So what's stopping you from becoming an AWS Cloud Architect? So 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Let me end the poll and also share the results with you folks. Let's see what have you voted for. So 43% of you have voted for I wouldn't get the practical exposure I need to become job ready. And that makes sense. And 37% of you have voted for I can't find a program with a fully comprehensive curriculum. And 19% of you have voted for I find it difficult to learn from pre-recorded videos. And 32% of you have voted for my work schedule won't allow me enough time for learning. That makes sense. Thank you so much for sharing that with us. That definitely gives us and our speaker understanding, what are the challenges you're facing when it comes to pursuing a career in AWS Cloud Architect. Now, quickly moving on towards the program introduction here. So now that we've given you a brief what exactly AWS Cloud Architect does, what are the core responsibilities, what is the demand in the market here, and quickly introducing you to the AWS Cloud Architect Masters Program. Starting with the Cloud Architect Masters Program is the certification is aligned with AWS here. As this is the AWS Cloud Architect Masters Program, we have an industry aligned learning path. We'll be talking about the learning path in very much detail. In the upcoming slides, we have integrated hands-on labs and projects which you can work on. We have gotten the highest amount of votes for I wouldn't get the practical exposure I need to become job ready. So the projects and hands-on labs, we'll be talking about that also in much detail. How exactly are they going to help you to showcase that experience once you're done with the program? Also, the format of the program is live virtual classrooms. I will be sharing the learning environment and showing you what are the live learning classrooms and what are the self-learning classrooms and the maximum amount of interaction which happens with the instructor and the peers. Dr. Purshottam can share some of his experiences during the learning environment. And the program duration here is of 11 months. You can just complete it by giving 10 to 15 hours per week of time. We saw a lot of you when you voted for the experience poll. We saw a lot of you are working professionals. So by just giving 10 to 15 hours per week, you can manage to complete this master's program in AWS Cloud Architect. Moving on to the learning path of the program. So Dr. Purshottam, can you take us through how exactly this program builds a learner's cloud skills step by step, starting with the orientation session for the AWS Cloud Architect Master's Program?
Correct. Yeah. So basically, see, first of all, when you join this program, you will go through the orientation session for AWS Cloud Architects Master Program. And then this orientation session will actually tell you that what you're going to learn in this particular program. Okay. What are the different courses that you'll go through and what are the objectives, program objectives, and what would be the program outcomes like after completing this program, what you should be able to do. Okay, so that is what can be covered in the orientation session. And then you start with your first course, actually, that is AWS Cloud Technical Essentials. So basically in this Cloud Technical Essentials, you will be given the know-how of AWS, and then you can be studying about the basics of AWS and stuff like that, and the different services that you've got in AWS. Okay. So that will get you started in AWS. Okay. And once you complete that course, so then you go through AWS Solutions Architect. Okay. And Solutions Architect is the course that is very important. And then that will actually prepare you for AWS Solutions Architect role. Okay, and you can also, after this course, you will get the certificate from the Simplilearn for this. And of course, all the courses when you'll complete, you will be able to unlock the certificate from Simplilearn. Apart from that, you can also aim, and you should rather aim to get a global certification by doing this course. I mean, you should prepare yourself and get yourself globally certified. When I say globally certified, you should opt for the exam from Amazon itself, and get yourself and clear that exam and get yourself certified. And that way you'll have a lot of credit. I mean, you will have a lot of value in the market that way. And that's how you'll be able to unlock your master's program certificate then. Now, these are the compulsory courses to actually unlock. Once you complete these courses, then you would get the course certificate after every course. And at the end, you will get a master's program certificate. Apart from that, you have some electives also. Okay. So these are the compulsory courses, like what I talked till this point. Now, other than that, you have electives also, like AWS Developer Associate. So if you are from the developer end, and if you want to, or if you want to become a AWS developer, then you can go for this course. Then AWS Database Migration, which can talk about how you can migrate the workloads, the databases onto AWS. Maybe from your on-premises or from any third-party cloud. Okay, and then when I talk about database migration, so you can have homogeneous migration, wherein the source and the target database would be the same, like MySQL, let's say, for example. But if the source and the target database are different, let's say MySQL, Oracle, then you will need a schema conversion tool to convert the schema and then migrate to the target database. So that you will study in AWS Database Migration. Then AWS SysOps Associate would talk about the system operations associate. That's kind of an administrator role thing that you can go with the SysOps associate course. Okay, and then mastering AWS services also. So with the official AWS content. Okay, so the point is, these are the elective courses. You can opt for one or all of them as well, and they would be offered to you at no extra cost. That would be included in the program cost itself. Yeah, so that's there.
Thank you so much, Dr. Purshottam, for taking us through the learning path here. Now, what are the tools, libraries, and platforms you'll be mastering in this AWS Cloud Architect Master's Program?
So basically here, few tools are being mentioned, but you will learn a lot of tools, I mean, other than these tools also. So just to name a few, like as I mentioned here, you will learn about EC2, which is a compute service. Like if you'll see the first row that talks about ECS, EC2, Lambda. So all these are compute services. Okay. Like EC2 is Elastic Compute Cloud, which helps you to create the virtual machines, virtual servers in cloud in an infrastructure as a service mode. And then you will have full control, more control of your servers there. Okay, of your infrastructure. And when I talk about the ECS, so it stands for Elastic Container Service, which helps you to create containers, instances in AWS, and those are nothing but lightweight servers. Okay, the container instances are okay, and they can also be used for computation. Okay, so why lightweight? I'll not get into the details of it, but because they don't have the complete part of the complete copy of the OS, a lightweight version of that, and that's why they are lightweight in nature. Then of course AWS Lambda, so that helps, that's a serverless thing basically. So AWS Lambda again, you pass your code in the form of functions and get your computations done through AWS Lambda. Okay, then you have monitoring service called AWS CloudWatch that can monitor your different resources. Okay, that is, let's say, for example, what is the CPU utilization, what is the disk utilization of a virtual machine, and so on. Then CloudFormation is infrastructure as a code, wherein you can create your resources by specifying them in the form of a code. Okay, wherein you can use the YAML templates, JSON templates to do that. JavaScript object notation in YAML language can use it. Then Elastic Beanstalk, this can also be used to actually run your web applications in cloud. So it would create a server, but it is offered to you in a PaaS-based manner, platform as a service manner. So behind the scene, the servers would be created, and then that they would run your application, let's say the web applications. Then DynamoDB is a solution for NoSQL database in AWS. Okay, so if you have the data with what semi-structured data without having the relations, and that's kind of an Excel data, spreadsheet data, okay, CSV format. So you can just store it in DynamoDB, wherein you want even the flexible schema for your data. So basically, you should store it in non-relational database then, and DynamoDB is the answer to that. Okay, then RDS is for relational database, wherein you don't have flexible schemas, and you have relations among your data. You store them in the form of tables. So you make use of RDS, relational database service, in which you have different engines like Aurora, MySQL, and so on. Okay, then of course, so virtual machines, you can create it through EC2. Yes, in an IaaS mode. Yeah, there are a lot more services that you'll go through, that you'll study in and out, guys. I've just given you the introduction of few services that I mentioned here. Yeah.
Thank you so much, Dr. Purshottam, for taking us through these tools, libraries, and platforms which are covered in the program. Moving on to the next slide, the industry-based hands-on projects, which they get to work on their portfolio. When we did that poll, what exactly is stopping them from pursuing a career as an AWS Cloud Architect? They have voted the highest for, they wouldn't get the practical exposure and they need to become job ready. So how does this program help other learners with
maybe
the
your voice.
industry-based hands-on projects which they get to work on?
Yeah.
Audible?
Yes,
Yeah.
you're audible. Yeah. And actually, that's the point. In fact, I wanted to interrupt you at that point, and I wanted to tell you, when I saw the results of those polls, that the practical thing is actually stopping them. They are not getting the practical exposure when they are joining the different programs. So let me tell you guys, in Simplilearn, at least, when I take the courses, we do take a lot of hands-on. It's pretty much hands-on, and specifically when I talk about the cloud platform, the AWS or Azure thing, maybe. So there is a lot of hands-on activity that we go through. Okay, so there are labs, and I do take up not just the labs, but the scenario-based labs, end-to-end labs. Okay. And during the topics itself, okay, forget about the project. So during the topics itself, we do we study the concept of a particular topic, and then we do the lab on that, and end-to-end lab on that. Apart from that, even when you're at the end of each course, you have a project also. Like, you have multiple projects, out of which the instructor helps you to go through one of the project, to do one of the project in your classes, and you can also try the other projects also, which are based on the concepts that you have studied in the course. So the point is, you will get through a lot of hands-on projects, and that can give you a lot of practical exposure, and end-to-end hands-on projects that would mimic some real life scenarios, and that can be really useful and helpful to gain the practical insights of the course. So if I would just talk about few of the projects here. So migrate SQL Server database to MySQL using AWS DMS, that is database migration service. So as I told you before also, so you have database migration service that helps you to move your databases from, let's say, on-premises or third-party cloud, let's say Azure, to AWS. And then those databases can be homogeneous databases or heterogeneous. When I say homogeneous, in that way means the source and the target database schema is the same. Like, if you're migrating from MySQL to MySQL, it's homogeneous thing, correct? But if you're migrating, let's say, MySQL database to Oracle database, then it is heterogeneous, because the schema would be different. So you can even do the heterogeneous database migration by using a schema conversion tool, in which you can convert the target, in which you can convert the schema, and then you can migrate it to the target database. So actually, this project deals about migrating the SQL Server database to MySQL using DMS. And then the second one is custom VPC creation. So here you will learn how you can create your own VPC, your own virtual private cloud with private subnets, and with availability zones, and how you can launch your instances, your VMs into your subnet, into each of those subnets, correct? Then load balancer configuration. So here you can launch 2 web servers and configure load balancer and auto scaling, and you can just increase or decrease the number of instances as the load increases or decreases. As I had already given you the sale days example with Amazon and Flipkart, the Great Indian Sale and Big Billion Days, and that user traffic can be balanced across those servers, that can be created either manually or through auto scaling. Then configure the RD gateway configuration. So you can configure RD gateway on a VPC with a public and private subnet, and then you can go about it. So yeah, few of the description of the few of the projects that you will go through in this course, in this program. Yeah.
Thank you so much, Dr. Purshottam, for taking us how these hands-on projects are really important, how exactly Simplilearn heads through these hands-on kind of attitude. Also, there's a typo here. It's project 4, not project 3, in the RD
No
gateway
problem.
configuration. Moving on to the next slide, talking about eligibility and prerequisites. Fresh graduates who intend to take the plunge into the cloud job market and take up this program. This is a master's program, so a graduate degree is required to take up the program. And also professionals with less than 2 years of experience are preferred when you are taking up the program, but not mandatory. If you have more experience, that is not a problem at all. If we can share a comment on who should take this AWS Cloud Architect training here. So I think you have already talked about it, but maybe you can summarize who are the folks who basically will be most beneficial taking up this AWS Cloud Architect program.
Yeah, so see, as far as we at Simplilearn are concerned, so the way we have designed this program, so I would say that whosoever is interested and maybe who is fulfilling the essential qualification, that's a graduate degree, is eligible and can opt for this program. So if in fact I saw some questions that do I need to have programming background to try to actually go with this course or this program? So the answer is no, actually. See, even if you are not a coder, even if you're not a programmer, even if you're coming from a non-tech background, you can still join this program, and you can learn pretty well from this program, and you can actually think of starting your career in this particular space. Okay, so any professional interested in hosting highly scalable, fault-tolerant applications on AWS platform should take this particular course. And but still, if some roles are there and disciplines that are ideal for the cloud architect training, like it would be great for the solutions architect, for programmers, for cloud developers, for cloud software engineers and DevOps professionals. But then, as I told you already, that even if you come from a non-tech background, fulfilling the essential qualification needed for this program, you can still join this program. Maybe you would need some more efforts. Okay, because when I talk about architects, so you would need some background, like the operating system concepts, the network concepts. So you can just work on those prerequisites a bit, and then you can easily, I mean, not easily, but maybe with some good effort, you can actually learn this particular program, and then you can get started, and you can actually think of having your career in the cloud architects space as well. Yeah, so that would be my input on this.
Thank you so much for sharing your comment here. Also, let me just let me share the screen for the learning environment, Dr. Purshottam, and maybe you can just quickly comment through the learning environment for the program. So let me just open Simplilearn. So now, folks, now that we have covered the program introduction, the insights in very much detail, I will just open the I'll just go to my courses. So this is how exactly you'll be able to access once you take up the program. So you'll have to go to my courses at Simplilearn, and then we will see what are the courses which are available here. This is the one we are talking about. So the AWS Cloud Architect program, and we will be starting the program, as you can see, 52 weeks remaining. And I'll just, give it over to you, Dr. Purshottam. Let me know where do you want me to navigate.
Yeah, sure. So see, in the courses tab itself, you can see those compulsory courses, AWS Cloud Technical Essentials, Solutions Architect, Associate level. And then if we can scroll down, just a second. Yeah, once you complete that, you get the Master's Program Certificate. And maybe if we can get inside that Solutions Architect Associate level course, so I'll let them know the things that they will get inside each course. Okay, so in that you have the self-learning section, guys. So in this self-learning section, you will have the pre-recorded sessions of any good trainer that is already there, so you can go through it. Okay, apart from this, there is this live classes sections tab. Now, what is there in this live classes tab? So basically, these are the lecture recordings of and already, I mean, of the course that you are going through. So the live classes happens, so the recordings of those live classes are available in this particular tab, in this particular section. Okay, so yeah, you can go through it from here. And I mean, because if you have missed some class or if you want to revisit that class, so you can always go through the recordings. Then in the assessment tab, you will, as I was talking you about the projects, so you can see those projects in the assessment section. You can see multiple of them for each course, and then one of the projects will be mentored to you by the trainer itself, maybe on the last day of the course. And then the other project also you can go through, which would be based on the topics that must have been covered in the course itself. And apart from that, there can be assignments also that are there, which you can go through. Then this is very interesting, that is practice labs session. Now in this, you get a sandbox environment, guys. So if you want to use AWS for doing the AWS lab, as I told you, it's majorly hands-on based. Okay, so when I talk about hands-on based, you need the lab thing. Okay, so you don't need to create your personal lab. Even if you don't have your personal lab, well, Simplilearn provides you the sandbox environment on AWS, which you can use and do the labs on AWS. Okay, so that can be really useful. Okay. Yes, and then coming to the certificate part. So guys, once, as I told you, every course will have a course certificate that you can unlock once you complete that course. And the requirement for unlocking the certificate is given here. That is, you should complete either 85% of the self-learning videos, or maybe the live learning classes you should complete. And then you have to complete one of the project with a simulation test, because that is also given here with 70% marks. And then you should be able to unlock this certificate. Okay. And likewise, guys, in all other courses, you will have similar tabs plus the certificates that you can unlock by completing the course requirements. And yeah, so all these courses, and these are the electives, okay, as I was talking about. So electives also would have the similar kind of tabs inside them, the elective courses, and you can go for them. And they would have the course and certificates as well. Let's say for SysOps admin associate level, as Rasha has clicked in here. So there also you will see the similar kind of the tabs, self-learning, then live classes, assessments, and also there was so Rasha, if you can go through, yeah, if you can click on the self-learning one. Yeah. So even guys, you have, I mean, if you can just unfold this assessment tab.
This one?
Yeah. Because yeah, there the reference materials are also present, guys. So they contain the ebooks, the lab guides. Okay, and apart from that, you can download all these. And apart from this, even the trainer, if he wants to share extra materials, he can also share it with you. Okay, so yeah, those so similar such tabs you have in all the course, the practice lab, sandbox environment, the certificate you can unlock. Yeah, and once you are done with the compulsory courses, and if you want, you can take the elective courses. And once you are done with the compulsory courses, guys, you will be able to unlock the program certificate also. Okay, so that you can unlock from this section. Okay, so that is there.
Yeah.
Okay,
Thank
plus
you so
apart
much.
from that.
Yeah, sorry to interrupt.
No problems. Yeah. So in the help section, even if you have any queries, you can ask through. So you have the support. 24/7 support is there. You can have, if you have any queries, you can just put in and you get the answers to that. Yeah.
Sure. Thank you so much, Dr. Purshottam, for taking us through the learning environment. Now, going back to the learning environment slide here, we just covered how exactly the learning environment looks like. I saw a few questions about the cohort, so I'll be sharing that, and also sharing with you the program page as well, where you can download the syllabus even after the webinar. So quickly sharing the learner outcomes. So what are the learners saying? So the previous classes have consisted of learners coming from world-class organizations like IBM, Microsoft, Oracle, and we have industries where they come from IT, software, BFSI, e-commerce, which Dr. Purshottam has already shared a comment on the industries you can join from. There is no such barrier there. And also, while I was showing you the learning environment, we couldn't see the certificate here, right? So at the end of it all, you'll be getting a Simplilearn's AWS Cloud Architect Master Certificate. You can see it here on the screen here. and 20 plus in-demand tools and skills we just covered. You will get 8x higher interaction in live online classes connected by industry experts, which already Dr. Purshottam has shed a light on that. We are quite hands-on when it comes to learning here, and also job assist services through Simplilearn here. So this we have in collaboration with IM Jobs. I'll just do one thing. I'll just quickly take you to the program page here and also share the link for you on the program page. I'm just dropping that link on the chat here before. Yeah. I see a few questions coming in on the chat here. We have got plenty of questions to address in the Q&A box. We will be doing that shortly, but this is the program page. We just covered the AWS Cloud Architect Masters program. We have covered the learning path here, the electives here. You can go and download the syllabus from here. I'll be sharing the link on the chat shortly. And you can basically go and enroll yourself here as well on the basically details which you see here. And also the tools which are covered, the learning path, which I've already said, and also the certificate of achievement for the AWS Cloud Architect Masters program. This is how it will look like once you complete the program. And few of the reviews here, I can see by Rajiv Patra here, says that Simplilearn is a perfect place to upskill. The teaching methodology and the courses are designed in such a way that it becomes super easy and for anyone to learn booming technologies here. And again, like these are the details you can just quickly access for your own region. Moving back to the slide. Yeah, so we would love to know your interest. Are you interested in enrolling into the AWS Cloud Architect Masters program by Simplilearn? I'm quickly launching this poll, which says, are you interested in enrolling into the program? You can share your interest as yes for enrollment interest. And even after this, the learning consultants from Simplilearn reaching out to you and taking you through much more detailed walk through the program, any questions you might have. I see a lot of questions are there, Dr. Purshottam, in the Q&A box. Maybe we can start taking up those questions as they respond to the poll here.
Sure. Right. So, yes. Yeah. So maybe do we have course related to cloud security, as I have background in security systems and wants to pursue career in cloud security? One of the learner asking. So yes, of course, I think we do have a course on cloud security also. Yeah, you can just visit the Simplilearn website and you'll get the answer to that. I mean, which course you have. Then is the training a paid training? Yeah. So do you have an option for a learn and pay later after getting a job? So it's a paid training, and maybe the details on that would be shared by Rasha to you. Yeah. So then, so for those who wish to go into cloud architecting, do we need to deep dive into programming skills, or we need not need them? I already answered to that. So you don't need a deep dive into programming skills if you want to get into the architect role. Yes, if you want to get into the developer role, then you need programming skills, but not for the architect role. You don't need to deep dive into programming skills. Okay, what's the fundamentals to become AWS Cloud Architecture? So the fundamentals needed, maybe on AWS, you can first go, I mean, you can learn on the fundamentals of AWS Cloud Practitioner and become a cloud architect. Okay, so fundamentals, I would say the prerequisites, you can learn architect, and during that time also you can learn these particular prerequisites, or beforehand you can learn income. That is, or even in the sessions, they can be told to you a bit. That is the fundamentals on operating systems, the fundamentals of networks, the databases, right? So yeah, those can be really handy. Can non-technical person becomes AWS solutions architect? So as I told you, yes, you can, provided you should have that zeal and you are ready to put in some extra efforts to actually go through some prerequisites like having some basic knowledge on operating systems, on networks, on databases. Yes, and of course you can become. Then can we apply if we are from other country? Maybe Rasha can answer to this program.
Yes, we can. This is a global program, so they can apply.
Yeah, sure. So you can. What are the processes to become a certified AWS Cloud Architect? So if you want to become a certified AWS Cloud Architect, you can go through the learning material of AWS, I mean, or you can join this course and then you can learn, basically, first of all, learn AWS, go through AWS documentation, go through the questions, the patterns, how they are asked in the exams. Okay. the question banks, and then you can prepare yourself for the exam, and then you can book a exam from Amazon, the global certification exam, and then appear for that, clear that, and become a AWS Cloud Architect. Okay. So does development positions more saturated than dev positions more saturated than cloud compute? I'm not getting your question actually. Dev positions in where, like in cloud, you are asking about developer positions. So then architect positions. So I would say yes, developer positions can be a bit more saturated, but I've not got your question completely. If it is something different, how can I learn AWS Cloud Architecture? By doing this course. Okay, you can learn AWS Cloud Architecture. Simple answer. What's your insight about programming positions than cloud positions? See, programming, I mean, you can be into cloud if you have a programming background also, and still you can opt for this course, and even you can opt for AWS Developer Associate. That is again is an program elective in this particular course. Okay, so if you have a programming background, still, of course, you can opt for this. What is the automation test engineer role in AWS Cloud? Okay, you can become a test engineer. You can go with the DevOps role also on AWS, and that can be, help you as well. How does AWS Cloud is cost effective and efficient to handle high traffic in telecommunication signaling components application? See, it is cost effective not just in telecommunications, but for many other systems as well. So because you don't have to invest on the capital expenditure. You mainly are interested in operational expenditure. It's pay as you go. You can use the servers as per your requirements when required, and you can terminate them as well when not required, and you have to do pay as you go thing, right? So it is pretty cost effective. And even you have TCO, that is total cost of ownership, in which you can actually specify that, okay, these are the servers, these are the databases, this is the storage I want over 1 year or 3 year term. What would be the costing in on-premises? What would be the costing in cloud? So it will give you a perfect differentiation with the graphs and stuff, that you can actually see to it how much cost you will save over 1 year or 3 year term. And you can show it even to your management, to your managers, and get themselves convinced if you want to move, if you want them, want your organization to be moved towards the cloud. Okay, then in terms of demand and competencies, okay, that was already answered.
Dr. Purshottam, thank you so much. We will be continuing the Q&A. Just give me a moment. We have just ended the poll for
Sure,
enrollment. And I'll just quickly take them to the enrollment steps, because we have gotten a few questions about that as well. So enrollment steps are very quick and easy. You have to basically, submit an application to us, apply at askus@simplilearn.net. Even after this webinar, if you have any questions, you can reach out to us in the same email ID, askus@simplilearn.net. I'll share it on the chat. And based on that, the application will be going for review based on the eligibility and the prerequisites that we have shared with you earlier. And based on that, we'll be getting learning, consultants from Simplilearn reaching out to you with the admissions offer. These are 3 simple, easy steps you'll have to follow. Either you can use the link and the program page, which I have shared with you on the chat here. I think it has some discount also going on. You can go and check out the program page, which I've just shown you. If you we saw a lot of interest towards enrollment. So if you want, you can go and use this link and go and enroll yourself also, and use the discount which is there on the chat here. I see someone has asked about the enrollment link. This is the enrollment link. Please use this to enroll. I've shared on the chat, and the program fee here. So we've gotten a few questions about that. For ROW candidates, the program fee here is $1,299 including GST. For Indian candidates, the fee here is 44,999 INR including GST. So even after the webinar, if you have any questions, you can check out the link to the program page which I've shared on the chat. You can download the syllabus also. If you want to basically wait for the learning consultants from Simplilearn to reach out to you, you can do that. And you can keep the syllabus handy. You can ask us any question you might have about the program you're planning to take up. So we will basically be helping you with that. And even after the webinar, you can drop us a mail on this email ID I've shared on the chat. Ask us at Simplilearn.net. So please feel free to put down any queries even after the webinar if you have. Yeah, moving on to the Q&A part. I think Dr. Purshottam, you have managed to answer a lot of these questions during the enrollment poll, but we have 1 or 2 minutes more. If you want, you can address maybe like 1 or 2 questions more.
Sure, I would like to address, yeah. If we have that time, yeah, I would like to address. So See, how do I get a job as an AWS architect or even cloud practitioner if any company rejects my CV because I have no experience? See, of course, a big challenge you will find when you have no experience. But if you get the global certification, so that can add and that increases your chances. At the same time, um, 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 even if you learn with Simplilearn, you get the Simplilearn certificate, so that will add on to your resume, and that can help you in getting the job. And you need to have some patience also. Look for the job openings, and that can help. It's great mind opening webinar. Okay, yeah, thanks for that. Okay, and then how can we prepare for the certification AWS Solutions Architect? By doing this course, by going through AWS documentation, by going through the question banks, scenario-based questions that they type of the scenario-based questions that they do ask. Okay, you can get yourself prepared for the certification. Hello, this looks like an awesome program to learn AWS services. I've already done. Okay, no. From how does the program enhance people who already have these certifications? Okay, so maybe if you have already done the certifications that are mentioned in this program, then you can think of whether to join it or not. But I would tell you, if you don't have the practical exposure to these particular courses, maybe you have just done it and you have cleared the certification and do not have the real-time practical exposure, how you can work in an organization based on, on cloud services, AWS, then you can also think of joining this program. Is this connected with cloud computing boot camp? Okay. See, basically in cloud computing bootcamp, it has its own curriculum that you can check out what is there, and then here it talks about AWS in specific. Okay, which programming language will be used for this program? So see, no programming language as such I would say would be used, but yes, in architect, when you go through the cloud formation templates, so there JSON and YAML templates would be used, correct? So yeah, and anyways, you don't need to have deep dive onto the programming languages if you are going with the architect course. Yes, but with developer, you should have knowledge of Java if you want to go with that elective course and stuff like that. Can automation test engineer learn AWS cloud courses? Of course, yes, you can. And that would be helpful. Will we still need to certify with some other entity, or will the program be sufficient? See, program would be sufficient, but getting a global certification is always a better thing, and you should actually aim for that, because it would give you a lot of value. And if you want to get yourself global certified, so this program you can learn with AWS documentation, also with the questions, kind of questions that are asked, and get yourself prepared, and then you can appear for that certification. Are the live lectures during the weekend? Are the live classes 4 hours in length? Yeah, during weekend they are of 4 hours, and during weekdays I'm not sure if this program is being run, and if so, then they would be less than 4 hours. I am into Oracle ERP from 15 years and I don't have IT experience. How can this core help me in switching my career into AWS? I don't have any IT. So see, of course, you can, since you are in Oracle ERP, you can get into AWS now also, because your organization maybe moving towards cloud, and then of course you can switch your role to that. Or otherwise in the Oracle also, if you are in Oracle ERP also, still you may be finding the instances wherein you will have to deal with AWS. Okay. Can automation test engineer learn AWS cloud courses? Automation test engineer, if it gives us a voucher for AWS exam, I'm not sure. That can be answered by the team itself, or Asha. Maybe if you get the voucher or not. Will you provide? Yeah, please. Okay. Will you provide assistance for AWS certification? Assistance for certification, of course, because see, you would be learning this course, and that will help you in the preparation for the AWS certification, correct? So maybe assistance in the form of providing you the discount coupons or so that can be answered by the team itself. So maybe Rasha will answer you on that. Let me finish this. Give me 2 minutes. Will you is this connected with Caltech Cloud Computing Bootcamp? I think no. Okay. But in that also, this similar, these courses are taken, I think, and here also. What is your advice for those who want to pursue this career? Go ahead, guys. You will have a bright career if you are in the cloud space, because cloud is the present and is the future also, correct? That would be my advice. is it possible to get employment as a remote AWS Cloud Solution Architect or AWS DevOps Architect? I live in Ireland. Yeah, so there, as Rasha already showed you, there are a lot of job openings on AWS Cloud Architect. So of course that should be a possibility that you should get into. Can this course be finished before the suggested timeline of 52 weeks or the pace is fixed? Again, Rasha, I would like you to answer on that. Is this paid course? Yes, of course. That detail has already been shared by Rasha to you. Need to know performance aspect of telecommunication in cloud, which are real-time processing. Performance, of course, can be real good because you have a lot of mechanisms for actually reducing the latency and stuff, like you have CDN, content delivery network, wherein you can use the cache server through edge locations through CloudFront service, and you can bring in the data near to the user's location. And yeah, so there are services that can help you to do that. Maybe I'm still a student now and I really want to become an AWS cloud architecture someday. What is your advice? Thanks. You should actually, and you can opt for this program, because I'll tell you, I am actually teaching my students also in my university also, like and they are getting the practitioner certification, and even many of them have opted and have completed their global certification on AWS Cloud Solutions Architect Associate, and that has really helped them in getting the placements and jobs into great MNCs. And yeah, so may not be initially in the cloud architect role, but then companies have hired them as cloud engineers, and then later on they will get that architect role also. And then yeah, so they do come to me and they show their gratitude, and then they are very good with it. Okay, so yeah, that can really help you. So it's a good place. I mean, the sooner you start, the better it is for you. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Dr. Purshottam. I think you managed to answer all of the questions. We did exceed the time by a few minutes, but that's
I'm
okay.
sorry for that. Yeah.
No, that's totally okay. We just extended it on demand because you were addressing queries. Folks, please do let us know if you have any queries even after the webinar. You can reach out to us at askus@simplilearn.net. And I'm just sharing that email ID once again on the chat here. Even after the webinar, you can reach out to us. And folks who are waiting for the webinar certificate for attending the webinar, I will be ending the session now. And you can let us know on the chat as well. How did you like the session? How did you like the program review? Was your question answered? And I'm just sharing the email ID which you can use to reach out to us even after the webinar based on the program page link I've shared. Download the syllabus. Have any questions? Either ask us at simplilearn.net. I'm sharing the email ID here, or you can also highlight this to the Simplilearn's learning consultant when they reach out to you based on the enrollment interest which you have shared, which we saw a lot of you. So I think we'll be seeing a lot of you in the upcoming cohorts. Before ending the session, Dr. Purshottam, thank you so much for taking the time out for this program review and addressing all of the questions. You know, none of them are left. Thank you so much for taking the extra time as well for addressing these questions. Would you like to say something to the folks before we end the session?
Yeah, first of all, it's always a pleasure to be here, and thanks a lot for inviting me to the session. And I'm great to answer the questions. Yeah.
Thank you.
So, and yes, guys. So, thanks a lot for being in the session, and I hope your queries have been answered, and you feel good about the session. So, yeah, I would like to tell you that this is a great program which you can join in and get some good things out of it, or even I would like to tell you this program, or maybe some other program. But guys, this is a great space to be into. Like, cloud is a great space. So if you are really thinking of getting into cloud, well, do it sooner than later. Yeah, that can really help you in your careers. Yeah, with that note, I present my thanks to you. Thanks for being here, and thank you, Rasha, for inviting me to this webinar. Thank you, one and all.
Thank you so much, Dr. Purshottam. Once again, it's always a pleasure hosting you, and I see a comment by Joyce is excellent. Thank you so much, everyone. Now, for folks who are waiting for the webinar survey, I will be ending the session now, and immediately you'll be getting a pop-up by Zoom which says a post-webinar survey. You can enter your full name there, which you want to see on the webinar certificate. We will need the data in order to send you the personalized certificate. And also, there'll be a feedback session as well. You can go and share a feedback for us, for our speaker, any suggestions you might have. We would love to, make these webinars better and better for you and provide you more value as we go with every webinar here. So thank you so much. Have a good day, good afternoon, good night, wherever you're joining us from. Thank you so much. Thank you for the appreciation for our speaker on the chat here. Thank you so much, everyone. Thank you. We'll be ending the session now.